It's lovely to be here and practice. So why don't we just go ahead and settle in? We'll do just our initial, just grounding and arriving and really just appreciating um, yeah, this is no small venture. It's no small work to do this. And because we look at it like, oh, I'm just sitting there, but there's a lot more going on than this. So, in your own way, coming to stillness and noticing how you're feeling today, how your body feels, what makes sense of the position of your body. Just take in this sound of the bell. Good. If it feels okay to close your eyes. And remind yourself that you're here to do some work, this isn't just an escape from life. It's really quite the opposite. We're doing this practice where can I be very aware of everything that's happening in my personal life, or out in the world. So we kind of start with the earth. I just even imagine just nature, this feeling of the earth, how we're just stopping, the planting down. And you can feel or almost watch like things maybe kind of swirling around, like all this stuff that's happening in your life. I'm just stopping. I'm not going to try to fix anything or solve my problems. I'm just going to be with so possibly a feeling of just softening. Almost, I think of like softening the edges. We can have just a harsh quality that we carry. The ways we can be critical. In the practice, yeah, just putting that down for now. That takes energy. I'll just let that go. This is part of our grounding and letting things be just as they are. A beautiful gift. And this settling and grounding can give rise to just a feeling of being more spacious. And the mind is here. Less clutter. It's feeling into being alive. You might even go around your eyes. Notice the eyes softening. So initially we can play with these qualities of being just at ease or relaxed. We can cultivate that by being here, not grabbing onto distractions. So we have ease or calm. Just little by little we can generate this. But then that brightness of interest. I'm interested in, it's really kind of fascinating that I can calm myself. I can choose to be non-distracted. A rich experience of just being with yourself. You might be aware of the feeling of the body, like your skin on your face. How your skin, you can relax, you can soften. And that can help to decrease that feeling of being harsh. And a common technique is to bring awareness to your breathing. I'm certain that we're all breathing, so you notice. Usually don't notice that I'm breathing, but there's the waves. Let's call them little waves of breath. Can have a strong habit of wanting something more, wanting a better experience. So we can remember that the work we're doing creating this calm, quiet feeling with a brightness and interest. The mind is bright. This is what it feels like to be alive, to be connected. You might play with this, like this energy of the uprightness in the body, like just somehow I'm doing this work to create good space inside your whole chest, your throat, aligning, just making sure that the breath can really flow in. So I think maybe one thing I'll just mention today as we really continue to explore what is this called, the nature of the mind, is that it's usually observed that the mind doesn't really like simplicity. It's like its job is to figure out problems, to figure things out, to work, to think. And as we understand that, as we know that, but when we see the wisdom in kind of pausing, because the mind tends to just take over, the thinking tends to get so dominant that all of a sudden we're actually what we call like disconnected. We're only thinking. So this is why, a big reason why we're doing this work is to just explore, okay, if I'm kind of putting down, that strategy, has it worked to figure out everything with your mind, So we in a way use like all of our senses, like, oh, I've been overlooking just these ways of feeling the body and letting this, our senses, being really sensitive, that when so for example, if we're in our head, if we're figuring things out, we often get really self-centered. It becomes like, and we often don't notice this is going on, that it becomes about what I want to get out of this. I want something. I want people to like me. I want people to see me as really smart, things like that. And when we put things down, it helps us just drop all of this kind of self-centered kind of drama that we can create. And so it helps us really connect and get sensitive to other people. And this is like generally a good thing. To see how, like, oh wow, I've really gotten, disconnected. So I need to generate interest about keeping others in mind. And it's through this pausing, this kind of putting down, and this breathing and feeling, this letting go of tension, can be just a valuable way of breaking that habit of just constantly, thinking about our issues. So I think then when we're meditating, though, it is really helpful to know, well, what am I doing while I'm meditating then? As I'm practicing this, if I'm not going to be caught up in my thinking, we love thinking usually. And so when we're not doing that, then when we're just practicing, just breathing and feeling and being present, it's good to know how to do this. So I know Jenny and I have mentioned this before, but I find I like to have this basic reminder that we choose an anchor. We choose something to go back to again and again and again. And over time, you'll really start to figure out what works for you and what doesn't, what actually leads to this connection, and that it just takes a while to stay with it over and over again. And you might have doubts, as you're doing this. So for example, if I'm just bringing awareness to my breath, and I could use some words, I could just say like inhaling, and we could use those words like mind is bright, I'm interested. Exhaling, calming and connecting. I can just feel like, kind of a weight, like, that I'm letting go of. But then that inhale is like, oh, bright, interested energy. Am I here? We could drop in that question. Am I even here? We're kind of on the lookout of like, I know how easy it is to be distracted. And then we just keep doing this over and over again, using a really kind, compassionate voice. This is work, and you'll notice right away, this takes some work. I often either fall asleep or I just get distracted. So getting to know yourself. Do you end up falling asleep or do you just get distracted? So we kind of know what we're working with. So that's, one technique. It's usually a pretty reliable one that's worthy to play with. You can, also do things like some people will do like a little bit of rocking movement, actual physical way of soothing or feeling like I'm right here. You could listen to sounds. It's not, you're noticing things that you typically don't notice because you're so in your head. So that's like, and what will happen, this is it's like a good thing to note, like you'll kind of know you're doing this right because you'll know that you'll know like, oh my gosh, I'm distracted and I'm going to come back. So when you watch that, like, I'm choosing to come back, you'll know that you're here. It's actually, it does kind of co-arise, like, I am really here. I'm not, caught up in my worries. I'm not stressing out about the past. Just here. And really, it's said that if you can sustain that here feeling for even 30 seconds, it will feel quite profound. And then we kind of, yes, we build on it. So that's just the instruction today, is to know what you're doing, because otherwise we'll just feel like, I can't do this. And then we just won't do it again. So let's position ourselves. I think of it like the most beautiful, wise, kind of a retreat, or we could even call it a vacation, where we've put down all these other responsibilities we have, and there's this seclusion, rich connection. So taking in sound of the bell that really tells us like, and now, honey, give yourself this sacred pause. You could first just get interested in all of these really even subtle ways that we just position the body, that there's like possibly some little effort just to open the space around the throat or the chest, creating space. You might take some deeper breaths. If you feel low energy or that jumpy mind, deeper breaths helps to feel into this moment. It can be kind of a wow, I'm alive. What does this feel like, this being alive? I'm going to bring deeper awareness into this present experience. I want to savor it. How would I do that? I want to notice every detail, whether it's what we call good or bad. I move beyond that pleasant and unpleasant, and I take it all in. So being open to how things are. This doesn't accidentally happen, this feeling of being open. You have to generate it. I can't think my way into being open. There's fewer thoughts. You might even say to yourself, like, okay, right now I'm just going to feel my belly. What's happening in my belly? May I be free of tension. I'm aware of my breath. Inhaling a brightness, an energy, alert. Exhaling, there's that, even the smallest amount of just a letting go. Don't forget, there's work to be done. Just getting into the details of what it's like to be alive right now. What do you notice? Building or generating this harmony with how things are right now. Sometimes you might imagine, use the imagination, that there's this center of the body and the breath is kind of moving through from the base of your body just all the way up to the crown of your head. Just feeling this flow. You could inhale, the breath moves up through the body. As you exhale, it goes back down, touching the earth. Just a playful way of feeling into this unseen interior. I'm letting the past be in the past. I'm letting the future be in the future. I'm alive, open in this moment. So it's always good to notice just how you're feeling, like what maybe what you learned today during your practice. But yeah, just a feeling of, oh, this really can be cultivated. I mean, that's as we just learn a little by little, or this is important to me. What part of this feels really important to you? And that's how we build faith, and it really has an impact on when we start to feel doubtful about doing this. So thank you everyone for showing up today.